Got to give a huge shout out to God Baseball. Go over to their channel, give them a subscribe. For the best baseball highlight clips, search God Baseball. The MLB trade deadline is set for August 3rd, and while half the league cries poverty, the manor-born few will look to shop good players from bad teams looking to sell any value they have to a contender. Looking at ESPN's rumor mill, it says there's a chance Francisco Lindor gets traded to the Yankees. You mean Steve Cohen, who neglects his own children to be the town crier in New York City, talking about how the Mets are not the little brother, and there's definitely not a rivalry, would hand over a generational player like Lindor to the Yankees for any price? Yeah, it would be self-sabotage and hurt the Yankees more than help. You may be onto something there, Steve Cohen. But I don't want to hear about a rift between Cohen and Steinbrenner over who takes Savannah Pagnozzi to the better restaurant. Marcus Semien must be the semen monster we all thought he was in Texas. Guys joined the Mets and crashed harder than Dale Sr. You can't just spin your way out of this jam. You gotta build around clubhouse guys and give Juan Soto a cast of characters so he can legitimately chase a National League title. Otherwise, it'll be year after year of overspending and spinning the tires. What happened to the revitalization of Luis Robert? Lou Bob's a corpse. He's washed and not even clean. Maybe Jorge Polanco can recapture something. Or maybe he'll barely scrape by above the Mendoza line. There's bright spots here, don't get me wrong. Soto, Alvarez, half of Bo Bichette. Hell, Nolan McLean's never looked better. Christian Scott and Clay Holmes are real rotation arms. There's hope in the future if this front office can put it all together. Or maybe next year we ditch Grimace and get Danhausen on the payroll. It seems the Red Sox are cursed. After spending the last week chasing an infielder, they landed perennial underwhelmer, second baseman Curtis Mead. With an I-can-fix-him attitude and a prayer, they sent one of the top pitching prospects in the organization for a guy that's underwhelmed everywhere he's been. And he got injured in his first game with the team, breaking his wrist on a hit-by-pitch. Mead nor the organization are still unsure if the injury will require surgery. But why trade Connolly early? Why do it? This trade is bad. It was bad before it happened. It'll be bad next month. It'll be bad next year. I think you'll see Connolly early in your dreams, Craig Breslow, as he haunts you for years to come. While obviously Trevor Story is injured, what's new? I think this was a knee-jerk reaction to an injury and a hot streak. A massive overpay for a guy who's never even been a league average hitter. An understudy to the stars like Zach Neto, Jeremy Pena, or C.J. Abrams, none of which were landed. I think we need to take a serious look into Craig Breslow's loyalties and credentials. On a broader note, Wilson Contreras is mashing, Caleb Durbin is rounding into form, Sedan Raphael is finally putting all the tools together, and this pitching staff. My God, this pitching staff is great. Sonny Gray being an elite MLB rotation guy year after year is hardly a surprise. Ranger Suarez producing to a level that keeps even the hardiest of Boston native happy. Jake the Cucumber Bennett coming out of nowhere to pitch to a sub-1 whip. Literally, where the hell did this guy come from? Peyton Tolley's looking sharp, and Aromas Chapman is aiming pitches to the tune of an ERA under 2 while striking out nearly 12 per 9. Solidly established in the wild card race and surging, I think the sky's the limit for this Red Sox team. Just imagine when they get Garrett Crochet back. Ah, the Padres. Always the bridesmaid. Playing second fiddle to the new evil empire. Always looking upwards every October to see the Dodgers saunter down the aisle as the bride once again. The deep pockets of St. Peter Seidler have given way to Jose and Kwanzaa, private owners of the highly competitive, yet highly profitable, Chelsea FC. Jose Feliciano has shown a willingness to spend, but a cast of aging stars on heavily bloated contracts must give pause for concern. I know selling at the deadline isn't what Friars want to hear, but the haul for selling Mason Miller may undo some of the damage sustained when buying Mason Miller. Tatis is fine. He may need a drink of juice to regain the power he showed in his first few years in the majors. Bogarts is wretched. Machado has power, but he's lost the ability to hit for average. And young up-and-comer Jackson Merrill has fallen into a slump for the ages. Literally, he's aged since the slump began. Michael King and Adrian Morejon are the two bright spots in the rotation. Otherwise, it's a blow it all to smithereens and start over situation. At this point, it may be worth paying percentages to unload this core and start fresh. I know this team is currently only 1.5 games out of the wild card, but is it really worth buying at the deadline just to watch the Dodgers go home with the prom king? There's nothing worse than being mediocre in sports. Yet that's the exact position the San Diego Padres find themselves in. Hopefully new ownership realizes this and tears it all down and rebuilds anew. Sell or buy, it's going to be a rough few years to be a Padres fan. The Sea of Sorrow has swallowed the Royals whole, used up any valuable resources, and spit out the carcass of Bobby Witt, Jack Caglione, and a tattered husk of a once passable rotation. They've crashed so hard over the past 2 seasons, they're lucky it's not them dangling off the Clark Memorial Bridge. This team underwhelms time and time again, yet every spring we as baseball fans want the husk to reanimate for the sake of Bobby to give him another decent run to the postseason. Since 2024's run, it's been nothing but disappointment. 2015 was a generation ago, and those memories of past glories hold this fan base hostage as they hope their scrappy franchise can capture lightning once more. Salvador Perez is still around, they say. Bobby and Cags can carry. Michael Garcia will break out of the slump soon. All this may be true, but the pitching staff are actively weighing down a sinking ship. Not only are they bad, they're fingering the hole in the boat to make the ship sink quicker. Ranking 28th in team ERA while bolstering a hearty 1.44 whip, this staff ranks bottom 5 in nearly every statistical category. But Bean, I hear you say, Michael Wacha is shoving. I respond with this. Placing the hopes of an entire season and franchise on the back of aging arms and a bullpen which they've spent zero resources on is actively killing any hope of a playoff run in the near future. I understand as a middle low market team, it's easy to fall into a love the one you're with scenario, but the Brewers find a way, the Rays find a way, and the White Sox, oh god damn it, the White Sox lead the Central. What a travesty. What goddamn timeline are we on?